नमस्कार, मैं हूं निधि और आप सुन रहे हैं अनस्टॉपेबल. This podcast is for you, fun, fearless and beautiful women. Welcome to a brand new episode of Unstoppable where we discuss matters close to a woman's heart. You guessed it. The purpose of this podcast is to bring you facts and research interwoven with storytelling and poetry. The idea is to change the narrative around important issues that relate to women. So are you ready to go on a new journey each week with me, Nidhi? So let's get together and make this journey unstoppable. In the previous episode, we discussed the contribution of mothers in the economy and how we could support them in following their passions and dreams. आखिर माँ होना सजा नहीं लगना चाहिए. As it is rightly said, happy mother is equal to a happy home. So let's make mothers happy and value their contribution. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about an often ignored section of our society, the domestic help. जी हाँ, मैं बात कर रही हूँ हमारी काम वाली बाई की. In some countries, they are called au pair, nanny, or domestic help. It is estimated that there are between 53 million and 100 million domestic workers worldwide, and 83% of them are women. So it's important to work on this issue and realize what are the key challenges faced by this sector and also what we could do to help. For context, this number is almost the size of Germany's population and 14 times the size of Singapore's population. Despite its size, this section of the population is open to exploitation. Why? Because it's informal and unorganized. In recent times, however, because of COVID-19, we have woken up to the importance of domestic help. You must have seen many people posting pictures of doing dishes, cleaning their homes, and even celebrities such as Katrina Kaif, who's a famous Indian actor, has posted shots of doing household chores. But despite this recent epiphany, we are still to acknowledge the real contribution. So in today's podcast, I will shed light on the issues faced by this class of workers and why it's important to treat them well, and how a simple girl from India who worked as a domestic help changed the perspective of a new mother. Domestic workers are an integral part of global labor force, and 1 out of 5 domestic workers is an international immigrant. They often leave their homes, their family, their children behind to come and find a better life for themselves and the people that they have left behind. When I was living in Singapore, I had a domestic help from Punjab, a state in India. But there were also many workers from Myanmar, Indonesia, Philippines, Sri Lanka, working in Singapore. And I have to admit, at that stage of my life, I was not evolved enough to acknowledge their contribution and hard work. And now that I live in Switzerland, where I have to handle everything myself, I think I have learned my lesson. जब आपको खाना बनाना पड़ता है, बर्तन साफ करने पड़ते हैं, सफाई करनी पड़ती है, तो NRI ड्रीम खिड़की से बाहर निकल जाती है. खैर, मेरी बात छोड़िए. Did you know that in Switzerland, it's compulsory to make social security contribution for your domestic help? You also have to arrange an accident insurance, and there's a mandated minimum pay of 19 Swiss francs per hour or $20 US per hour. On the other hand, in Singapore, there's no recommended guideline for minimum pay. The average pay per month is 600 Singapore dollars. Which translates to 23 Singapore dollars per day or 17 US per day. There is no social security benefit. So you can see that 2 of the best countries in the world have different policies to deal with foreign domestic workers. And you can only imagine what the situation might be in a developing country. In my home country, India, there are no laws around social security, accident, or health insurance. In fact, due to the recent pandemic, many of the migrant workers who were hailing from small villages had to leave their city jobs and go back homes without any transport because all the trains and buses, all these services were affected during the lockdown, and they were walking for hundreds of kilometers carrying their luggages and with their children. And these heartening pictures were all over the internet. So apart from the low pay, lack of social security, and lack of health or accident insurance, they also face no guaranteed weekly off. You often hear of such cases happening in the Middle East. Restrictions on freedom of movement, and at times physical, mental, and sexual abuse. So what can we do to help? Well, to start off, we can offer them a fair wage, which is in accordance with the guidelines set by the local authorities. If there are no such guidelines, we have to understand that these people are working very hard for their families back home. And to break the cycle of poverty, we have to help them earn enough to make a decent living. And we can also sponsor their kids' education, or you can sponsor their own education so that they can upgrade their skills and find better work opportunities. Most of these workers leave their countries to support their families and give them a better life. So if they are reskilled, they might secure better jobs. Another factor is to give them respect. That is something which does not cost much, and everybody can do that. Treat them as equals. What I found surprising in Switzerland is that regardless of your job, you have dignity and respect. स्विट्जरलैंड में चाहे आप चौकीदार हो, सफाई कर्मचारी हो, बिल्डिंग कंस्ट्रक्शन में काम करते हो, ओ पेयर हो यानी कि नैनी हो, आप सबको एक अच्छी तनख्वाह मिलती है और सम्मान मिलता है, जो कि अक्सर इंडिया में और एशिया में काफ़ी बार मिसिंग रहता है। ये बहुत ही आसान और साधारण सा दिखने वाला कदम किसी के लिए बहुत मायने रख सकता है। जब आप एक दूसरे इंसान को वो सम्मान देते हैं जो उसे कहीं से नहीं मिल रहा, वो आपको सम्मान वापस देगा। So let's practice this very simple step of giving respect to everyone despite and in spite their profession. In today's story, I share the story of the simple girl Aman, who's from Punjab and who works as domestic help in Delhi. बहुत ही प्यारी सी एक लड़की अमन जो कि दिल्ली में काम करती है, उसकी ये कहानी है। तो आइए सुनते हैं आज की कहानी। As I looked out of the car window, I was shocked to see the progress. A modern, efficient airport, high-rise buildings, and an urban rail network. I was 10 years old when I last visited my grandfather's ancestral home in rural Punjab, India. He left his motherland as a young Sikh, recruited by the British Raj to fight the Japanese in Singapore during World War II. His post-war migration meant that I was a product of city-state Singapore. I remember being sick throughout our 10 days adventure, as my tummy never took to Indian spices. My multi-ethnic heritage ensured that I relished my Chinese grandmother's chicken rice more than the fiery tandoori chicken. But here I was 20 years later, ready for another adventure. All it had taken was the birth of my first child, fluctuating hormones, and sleep deprivation which engulfs every new mother, to pack my bags for India. I thought maybe a yoga retreat would ground me. Leaving my mum and husband in service of the boss baby, I boarded my flight. When I reached my extended family's apartment in Delhi, the entire family was there to greet me. I also learned it was a public holiday, celebrating the birth of Guru Nanak, the first guru of the Sikh religion. I recalled all the stories from my grandfather about the bravery of the Sikh gurus. The house was being decorated with oil-lit lamps, flowers, similar to the tradition of Festival of Lights, Deepavali. I was invited to join them for prayers at the Gurdwara, the Sikh temple, but I was too tired from the travel and still reeling from mommy guilt. And I looked forward to sleeping like a baby, which is an oxymoron, by the way. So I just crashed. When I woke up, it was 6 p.m. and only Aman, the housekeeper, was around. Luckily, she spoke basic English, and I made up rest with my broken Hindi. She offered to take me to the Gurdwara nearby. On the roads, I could see chaos. Traffic crisscrossing in all directions, persistent honking, little kids running on the roads, bare feet trying to sell knickknacks, pollution, noise. That is India. We took the metro, which was clean, crowded, and similar to any modern-day train network. I was curious to find where Aman had learnt English. She told me that after her day job, she goes to a night school to learn English and computer skills. Her early and difficult marriage had interrupted her education, but now as a single mum, she dreamt of a better future for her kids. Despite her struggles, I was struck by her genuine smile and happy disposition. As we approached the Gurdwara, I could feel the festivity in the air. The entire street was decorated with strings of suspended lights. There was a sound of kirtan in the air, rows of flowers, and hundreds of lamps placed around the Gurdwara by devotees. There were volunteers collecting visitors' shoes, cooking and serving langar, which is free food from the community kitchen of the temple, and cleaning up. As we entered the Gurdwara, we covered our heads with scarves and proceeded to pay respects to the holy book, the Guru Granth Sahib, which was adorned by a red velvet cloth with gold embroidery. The fragrance of flowers in the air, combined with the hymns of kirtan, filled my mind with peace. Clearly, music is a universal language, which speaks to you even when one does not understand the lyrics fully. Later, we were served Kara Prasad, a warm, sweet-tasting food made of semolina or wheat flour and laden with sugar and ghee, which is clarified butter. Later in the community kitchen, we all sat on the floor to break bread with the congregation. This serves as a reminder that the same light illuminates in our hearts despite our varied socio-economic background and ethnicities. As I sat there eating simple Indian food, I contemplated on the past few months, which were a roller coaster of emotion. Then I noticed Aman's smile and realized that although suffering is universal, it's our attitude towards it that makes us unique. And Aman means peace. And I hoped that I would be at peace with my new status as a mother. Everyone has troubles. Some show, some hide. If it lightens your heart, don't keep it inside. As Buddha said, suffering is universal. But why me, I ask. But when I bother to listen, I find the answers hidden behind each smile and each teary-eyed. And maybe, and just maybe, in accepting that suffering is universal, lies my freedom. Thank you everyone for joining me on another journey of Unstoppable. मुझे उम्मीद है कि आपको ये कहानी और आज का टॉपिक पसंद आया होगा। आप यदि मुझे कांटेक्ट करना चाहें तो आप मुझे लिख सकते हैं at getrealamma@gmail.com, get real REAL amma AMMA, getrealamma@gmail.com, or my Instagram handle is the same, getrealamma. You can find me there as well. So until next time, my beautiful ladies, be unstoppable.